Hi everyone, Emily Rosmus here, Education Coordinator for the Ned Smith Center for Nature and Art. So we are not on site for our NED Talks this week. We wanted to bring you something a little bit different considering everything that's going on in the world. So Hunter Kaufman, our Nature and Arts educator, and myself will be bringing you this week's NED Talks from off-site. Hopefully we'll be able to give you some ideas to get creative and still enjoy the outdoors and the arts during this very difficult time. We want to make sure you guys are being safe, staying in as much as possible, and we are also trying to socially distance ourselves at the center as well. So, welcome to our NED Talks. So this is a perfect time to set up and start using a nature journal. It's very simple. If you don't already have one set up, all you need is a blank notebook and then something to write with, really. I do have a pen and a pencil, but also some colored pencils. If you like to draw or sketch, grab some of those as well. But as long as you have that pen or the pencil, blank notebook, you are ready to start. Step one for your nature journal before you actually go outside is to set it up. So here's a page I've already set up for a walk today. You always want to include the date. That, in my opinion, is the most important thing, including the year. So Ned Smith, he was a great writer and naturalist, but he did not include that year for a lot of his entries. So we just have to kind of guess as to where it falls based on other entries around it. You want to put where you're going. So we're going to go poke around the backyard a little bit, maybe walk over to the park. It's about 10:30 in the morning and it is a beautiful, sunny and clear day today. And I usually like to title it, maybe say who I'm going with. And so we are going to take a walk with Clara today, who is more than ready to go. So we are starting out in my backyard. If a backyard is all you have, if you don't have access to a local park or you can't go anywhere, or if you just have that window, the first thing I like to do is just find a spot to sit and close my eyes for a few seconds and listen to what's going on around me. So right now the birds are very active, lots of songbirds. I heard a red-shouldered hawk a minute ago. So this is how I like to initiate my journaling session, to kind of connect to what's around me, connect to nature, just get an idea of what you might find out here. Here's some first little dandelions of the season. They're already out. So this is turkey tail, but if I wasn't sure what it was, I could peel just a little bit off and take it back with me and then maybe try to identify it whenever I get inside. So when you're first starting your nature journal, some of the most important things I feel are to be as descriptive as possible, but don't feel overwhelmed. So rather than going out and just saying, oh, there's a lot of green stuff right now, and right now, early spring, there is a lot of green stuff. So maybe pick 3 or 4 green things to look at in that one single thing, in that one walk. You don't have to identify every plant the first time you go out in the woods, so maybe pick 3 or 4 green things and sit down and really look at them. Instead of saying they're green, maybe say they're light green, or they're kind of like a lime green, they have waxy leaves, describe their leaves, that kind of thing. So if you're still having trouble focusing or really getting into the journaling, what I also like to suggest is you pick a small squared off area. So I've kind of lined it out with these sticks, and then just take a look in that square and see what you see what you can identify, see what's interesting, maybe pick a few things that you don't know what they are and take pictures or make notes and try to identify them when you get home. So in our square here, there's a ton of stuff. So we see some gnats. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some gnats flying around. These are trout lilies. And then here we have a tiny little mayapple coming up. There are a few of them. So sometimes you really have to pay attention, really get into the tiny things. All right, Claire and I finished our walk. We saw a lot of cool things. I prefer to take quick notes and take pictures, maybe do some quick sketches, and then journal after I get back from the walk. So Clara is relaxing, hunting squirrels, and I'm gonna sit down and do some journaling now. All right, so I moved inside to finish up my journal, and I do have my first entry in my new journal. I kept it pretty simple. I chose, like I said, maybe 4 or 5 things to really talk about or look at a little closer. I do have a bird list on the side. I like to keep that in a separate little corner of my entries, as well as some notes and sketches that I just kind of quickly kept track of. So I chose a few things to kind of look at a little closer. In my journal, we saw a great egret flying over before we even got over to the park. The skunk cabbage is fully coming up. If you saw our previous NED talk, Hunter probably taught you all about the skunk cabbage. But the trout lilies and mayaples are also starting to pop up along the trail. We ran into a friend who told us about these garter snakes that were basking down by the creek, so that was pretty cool to see. And we also found 2 mystery plants that I haven't figured out what they are yet, but I took some pictures, have those sketches, notes about their leaf orientations. One's a really spiky looking plant. I think it's probably an ornamental that somebody tossed down in the woods. And the other is this tiny little white and kind of lime green ground cover down by the creek as well. So I'll do some research, figure out what those are, but what's going to help me do it is my nature journal. Everything that I wrote down in here, the pictures that I took, it'll help me identify those 2 plants. So like I said, this is the perfect time to start a nature journal. It'll get you outside, give you some stress relief maybe, a project to really sink your teeth into. So hopefully you're able to discover something new in your area, whether it is just outside your back door, just outside your window, over at your local park. Hopefully that'll help you keep busy in this time. So until we are able to see you at the center again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.